5 questions liars ask to manipulate you, and the Stoic wisdom that keeps you unshakable. When someone wants to deceive you, they rarely start with a statement. A skilled liar begins with a question. A question designed to confuse you, to make you doubt yourself, to shift your emotions in a direction that benefits them. And the most dangerous part? These questions sound innocent. They sound caring. They sound logical. But beneath the surface, they are psychological traps. Liars don't manipulate your reality directly, they manipulate your perception of reality. They twist the conversation in subtle ways until you start second-guessing your own thoughts, your own instincts, even your own memories. And once they control your perception, they control you. But there is a way to stay unshakable. The Stoics taught that no one can deceive the mind that remains anchored in truth, clarity, and inner calm. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it's not true, don't believe it. If it's not righteous, don't do it." This simple principle is a shield against manipulation, because it forces you to separate facts from feelings, reality from illusion. In this video, you're going to discover the 5 questions liars use most often to control people. And the Stoic wisdom that exposes their tricks instantly. Once you understand these questions, manipulation loses its power. You'll stop reacting emotionally. You'll start observing calmly. And instead of being pulled into someone's psychological game, you'll stand firm, grounded, centered, and impossible to confuse. Let's begin. Question 1. Why don't you trust me? This is one of the most common questions liars use, and it is almost never a genuine request for understanding. It is a tactical maneuver, a psychological trap designed to shift the weight of suspicion away from them and onto you. When someone asks, "Why don't you trust me?" they are not trying to clarify the truth. They are trying to make you feel guilty for noticing it. A liar knows that trust is emotional. So instead of addressing the evidence, the facts, or their own suspicious behavior, they redirect the conversation toward your feelings. Suddenly, you become the problem. Not their actions. Not their lies. Not their inconsistencies. You. This question forces you into a defensive position. You instinctively start explaining yourself, justifying your doubts, and proving your innocence, while they avoid proving anything at all. This is the manipulation. By placing the burden of trust on you, they erase the burden of honesty from themselves. A Stoic would immediately recognize the trap. Stoicism teaches that trust is not granted based on emotion or pressure, but on observable actions. Epictetus said, "If you want to know what a man truly believes, observe what he does." A liar uses this question to control the narrative, but a Stoic uses observation to reclaim it. If someone asks you why you don't trust them, the answer is simple. Because trust is earned, not demanded. A sincere person would address your concerns. A liar avoids them. A sincere person would offer clarity. A liar offers guilt. A sincere person would say, "What makes you feel unsure? Let's talk about it." A liar says, "Why don't you trust me?" hoping you won't look deeper. The Stoic response is calm and unshakable. Do not defend your doubts. Do not justify your intuition. Do not fall into the emotional hook. Simply return to the facts. What happened? What was said? What changed? What evidence is there? Because once you return to the reality of their actions, the illusion of their question collapses. Question 2. Are you sure you're not overreacting? This is one of the most subtle and dangerous questions a liar can use. It sounds calm. It sounds reasonable. It sounds like they are trying to help you stay balanced. But in reality, this question is designed to make you doubt your own perception. When someone asks, "Are you sure you're not overreacting?" they are planting a seed that grows into self-doubt. Suddenly, you start questioning what you saw, what you heard, and what you felt. You replay the situation, wondering if maybe you misunderstood something. And the more you doubt yourself, the more control the manipulator has. This tactic has a name: gaslighting. It works because it attacks your confidence, not your logic. Once you feel uncertain, you become easier to guide, easier to silence, easier to dominate. A liar doesn't want you thinking clearly. They want you second-guessing yourself. Because if you start believing your emotions are exaggerated, you'll eventually believe that your reality is exaggerated too. The Stoics warned about this long before the modern world gave it a label. They taught that the mind must be trained to separate emotion from observation. As Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." A manipulator wants to control your mind by attacking your emotional stability. A Stoic protects the mind by returning to what is objective and undeniable. Here's the truth. Not every strong reaction is an overreaction. Sometimes, your instincts are warning you that something is off. Sometimes, your body senses what your mind hasn't processed yet. And sometimes, the only person who wants you to calm down is the one who fears what you might discover. A sincere person listens to your concerns. They ask what you're feeling. They help you find clarity. A liar, however, avoids the conversation by attacking your emotional credibility. The Stoic response is simple and powerful. Don't argue about your reaction. Focus on the cause of the reaction. Ask yourself, what exactly happened? What triggered my concern? What are the facts, without emotion attached? Because when you anchor yourself in what is real, the manipulator loses their ability to distort your perception. Question 3. Who told you that? At first glance, this question seems harmless. It sounds like simple curiosity, maybe even an attempt to understand the situation better. But when it comes from a liar, it is almost never innocent. This question is a strategic move, a way to regain control of the information they fear is slipping away from them. When a manipulator asks, "Who told you that?" their goal is not to clarify the truth. Their goal is to identify the source of the threat. They want to know who exposed them, who contradicted their story, or who dared to reveal something they were trying to hide. They don't care what you know. They care about who else knows. This question has several hidden purposes. 1. To isolate you. If they can make you distrust the person who told you the truth, they regain control over your perception. 2. To track the flow of information. They want to know who they need to manipulate next. 3. To intimidate the source. Once they identify the person, they might target them, pressure them, or silence them. 4. To shift the conversation away from their behavior. Instead of addressing what they did, they focus on who exposed it. This tactic is especially common in workplaces, social circles, and family environments, places where information flows quietly and reputations are fragile. The Stoics would recognize this instantly. Truth, for them, is independent of the messenger. Epictetus said, "What is true and what is false does not depend on who speaks it." A liar tries to make you question the legitimacy of the person who warned you. A Stoic focuses only on the content. Is it true? Is it supported by evidence? Does it match the reality I observe? A sincere person responds by discussing the facts. A manipulator responds by investigating the informant. And here is the subtle danger. Once they know the source, they try to reshape the narrative. They will say things like, "That person hates me. That person misunderstood. That person is jealous. That person always lies." It doesn't matter which tactic they choose, the goal is always the same. Break the connection between you and the truth. But a Stoic stands firm. You don't have to reveal your source. You don't have to justify anything. Simply stay focused on the facts and the behavior in front of you. Because manipulation thrives in secrecy. Truth thrives in clarity. Question 4. Why would I lie about something like this? This question is one of the most theatrical tools a liar uses. It sounds powerful. It sounds convincing. It sounds like a statement of innocence. But in reality, it is a psychological trick meant to shift your attention away from their behavior and toward their supposed character. When someone says, "Why would I lie about something like this?" they are not proving their honesty. They are appealing to your emotions, hoping you will fill in the blanks for them. Instead of answering the question, you begin searching for reasons they wouldn't lie. You think about their past, their personality, their relationship with you. You try to imagine their motivations. And while your mind is busy defending them, they avoid defending themselves. This is the manipulation. They want you to assume that lying requires a dramatic motive, something big, something extreme. But liars don't lie because the situation is big. They lie because the truth is inconvenient. They lie to avoid consequences. They lie to protect their image. They lie to stay comfortable. They lie because lying is easier than accountability. The question, "Why would I lie?" is designed to make you feel unreasonable for doubting them, and to distract you from the very real possibility that they are lying. The Stoics understood this dynamic well. They taught that a person's intentions are irrelevant compared to their actions. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not waste time guessing the motives of others. Observe what they choose to do." A liar wants you focused on motives, mysterious, invisible, emotional. A Stoic focuses on actions, visible, concrete, undeniable. A sincere person would say, "Here's what happened. Here is the evidence. Here is the truth." A liar says, "Why would I lie?" Notice the difference. One clarifies. The other distracts. And in many cases, this question is used to pressure you into dropping the subject. They hope you'll feel ridiculous for asking, so you'll let the issue go. They hope the emotional weight of the question will override your logical suspicion. But the Stoic response is calm and clear. You don't have to prove why someone would lie. The only thing that matters is whether what they said matches reality. Forget the performance. Forget the theatrics. Forget the emotional pressure. Return to the facts. Because once you examine the evidence directly, their question loses all its power. Question 5, can't you just forget about it? When a liar asks, "Can't you just forget about it?" it's never because the situation is small or unimportant. It's because the truth is uncomfortable, for them, not for you. This question is a classic manipulation tactic meant to make you feel unreasonable for holding someone accountable. On the surface, it sounds peaceful. It sounds like an attempt to calm things down or move forward. But underneath that calm tone lies a clear intention. They want the problem to disappear without taking responsibility for what caused it. This question is used to 1. Avoid consequences. 2. End the conversation before the truth comes out. 3. Minimize what they did. 4. Pressure you emotionally into silence. It is a shortcut. Not to peace, but to escape. A liar hopes you will feel guilty for not letting it go. They hope you will think you are being dramatic, stubborn, or unforgiving. They want you to believe that addressing the issue is more harmful than the issue itself. But a Stoic sees through this instantly. Stoicism teaches that truth must be faced, not smothered. Seneca wrote, "Wrongdoings must be examined, not concealed." A Stoic does not hold a grudge, but they also do not pretend that harm never happened. They understand that ignoring a problem does not solve it, it only empowers the person who caused it. When a liar says, "Can't you just forget about it?" what they really mean is, "Can you stop making this difficult for me? Can you stop asking questions? Can you stop noticing the truth?" A sincere person doesn't ask you to forget. A sincere person asks how they can make things right. They take responsibility. They open a real conversation. They care about clarity, not convenience. This question reveals a dangerous mindset. They value their comfort more than your truth. The Stoic response is firm and grounded. You don't have to forget anything. You don't have to rush your feelings. You don't have to silence your intuition. You don't have to carry the weight of someone else's actions quietly. Instead, focus on what happened, why it happened, and what needs to change. This is not about punishment, it is about clarity. Because clarity is what makes you unshakable. Stoic reflection plus final message. Now you understand the 5 questions liars use to manipulate you. Not through force. Not through anger. But through subtle pressure, questions designed to make you doubt your instincts, your memory, and your perception of reality. A liar doesn't need to shout. They don't need to attack. All they need is to plant a little doubt inside your mind. And let it grow. But here is where Stoic wisdom becomes your shield. The Stoics taught that the mind becomes unshakable when it is anchored in truth, clarity, and self-awareness. Manipulation loses its power the moment you stop reacting emotionally and start observing rationally. Marcus Aurelius said, "If someone can prove me wrong, I will gladly change. But until then, I hold to what is true." This is the mentality that breaks every manipulative tactic. You are open to truth, but immune to deception. A liar wants you confused. A Stoic wants you clear. A liar wants you emotional. A Stoic wants you steady. A liar wants to control the narrative. A Stoic controls their own mind. And here is the ultimate lesson. You do not have to answer every manipulative question. You do not have to justify your feelings. You do not have to reveal your sources. You do not have to prove why someone might lie. You do not have to forget anything that still needs to be understood. You simply have to return to the facts. To what you saw. To what you heard. To what is real, not what someone wants you to believe. Truth is not fragile. Only lies need protection. So as you move forward, remember this. Liars ask questions to confuse you. The Stoic asks only one question. Is it true? Because when you stand with truth, manipulation breaks. And when your mind stays anchored, you become unshakable.